And Brad, how's your Thursday? I mean, Wednesday today, all
Hey,
day.
buddy.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
That's tomorrow.
I know
It's the
time
holiday
travel.
week is always a little screwy.
A little bit of time travel goes a long way. Um, Brad, how's your mic, buddy?
My mic is good. It'll help if we can see your desktop, I think, for this presentation, this webinar, this session.
Let
We
me
can't
see.
see it yet. There we go. Boom, boom.
Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining our Q&A. It's been a while again, Brad, since I've done any work whatsoever.
Welcome back, my friend. Welcome back.
You know, I'm so glad that I have you. You make me feel like I'm not even needed or wanted.
You're needed, you're wanted, and excited to see what we've got going on today. You know, it's our Wednesday.
I got to tell you, Brad, we've got a pretty good one today. I don't want to say it's like the best one we've ever had, but we're going to interact with things in a cool way. I'm going to show some good stuff. But before we get going, let's start with a disclaimer. Trade Ideas is not a registered investment advisor. All the information that you're going to hear today is for educational and informational purposes only. And if you need trading advice, please consult a registered investment advisor. Now, since I haven't been here, haven't even seen these presentations, it looks like Brad went crazy and tried to provide you stuff that,
Yes, this is my handiwork.
that you could possibly use.
Well, you know, I was just really describing kind of everything that we do with Trade Ideas, everything from strategy creation, configuration, analysis, execution, kind of the whole soup to nuts.
Brad.
Buddy, yeah,
Waleed knows that already.
Waleed knows that.
Mike knows this.
They could both teach this webinar.
I know. Soon, very soon, we're gonna have volunteers. Waleed and Mike will like mic up. They're gonna be it's gonna be called the Pretend Dan and Brad webinar Q&A. We'll see how well it goes. I actually really like this slide because it throws back to the fact that the technology we've been making for many years is still, well, we keep refining it, of course, but you know, we've got all this different stuff, pattern recognition, different ways to see the data, and to sum it all up, you can create what Brad's showing you here. This is an alert, crossing highs, and you can see what it does. Dolores and Steve, absolutely. Brad will hand that over, no problem. And you can see our position in range. It's just another way to simplify things. You know, a lot of people in traditional technical analysis terms, what they do is they make very complicated statements using traditional language of traditional technical analysis, like RSI and MACD and all these acronyms, where we try to say, well, look, a day has a range, a high and a low. Where in that position and range is the stock? You could specify by a percentage, saying, for example, I only want to see stuff that's at the 80th percentile. You'll see everything that's going up. And again, this is not the crux of our webinar today, but I really do, Brad, appreciate what you've done with the slide, and it's really nice, and I think it conveys very clearly that there's just a multitude of ways that you can divide the data, and of course, at the very end, you can take all of that division and test it. So I'm going to minimize the presentation real quick. I'll jump into more of it as we get towards the end. But what I wanted to say is that I want to bring up a couple of things here. I'm going to bring up the S&P. If you look at the S&P from, let's talk about this, 30th of July, Brad, roughly speaking, right here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What you're seeing is a fairly, and I've said this before different times, but look, from June to July, nice uptrend. Not super easy, but nice. This is one of the more challenging things you're going to see because it's kind of like panic, 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 gap down, panic, gap up, sell off, gap up, panic, gap up, and then panic, panic, panic. I mean, what you're seeing here is a
tremendous number of gap days, which does make it a little bit more difficult when it doesn't have the follow through.
Right. So this is where, if you're sitting at a poker table, Brad, the professional poker player does a lot of folds. for a reason, because you fold until you know you can win. So this is where the market's a little bit tricky. And no amount of statistical, like, so we do our AI, our card counting of the stock market based on statistical analysis. But statistical analysis does not guarantee gains when you're in a chaotic environment. It's the same thing that if a surf competition is being held and all of a sudden wind picks up and you get chopped, the guys who are surfing, they can't force the waves to be smooth. So please be aware that we are just currently, in this environment where you're seeing heightened volatility, which means that for the most part, what that tells you is you ought to slow yourself down and trade lighter until we get some sort of a breakthrough, either up here or below here. Where I've said that today in the stock market, it's very similar to somebody going into Afghanistan after signing up for the army without basic training, without any kind of conditioning. You just, I just want to get in there. Come on. I'm going to follow the sergeant or guru, And if you look very closely here, this is one of our ways to solve this problem. Brad, have you showed any of this to anybody before, the paper?
I brought it out a little bit, but not the paper. No, just really the live trading.
Okay, so notice, guys, Brokerage Plus connected to Trade Ideas paper trading. So for Stephen DeVos and other people who also work as our affiliates, this should be a really critical thing for all of you guys, because what you're now able to tell people is that you can work with Trade Ideas and get comfortable working with the software in Brokerage Plus. This is exactly the same interface as Brokerage Plus. Now, mind you, the version that I have here, the QAnon Power TIQ development mode enabled, this is a way early beta that has bugs, because I've never been minus 60,000 today in paper trading. I don't even think this is accurate, but I'm going to show you what works so that you can see it, and it's really cool. Okay, so first of all, you can see these trades. Okay, these are paper trading trades. So again, this talks about the education process. If you're a golfer, you're at the range here. You're putting, you're chipping, you're driving, you are at the range in paper trading mode. Okay. Brad, does Tiger use the range?
Tiger most definitely uses the range.
What about that guy that just won the Inland Open in Temecula? I don't know who he is.
He uses the range.
Brad's son, you guys, just won the Inland Open Amateur Golf Championship. Really cool stuff.
Pretty proud of that guy. He works super hard at it. But, just like trading, whether it's golf or trading, you got to work hard at it. None of it just really comes easy.
Yeah. So, and again, Dolores and Steve understand what we're saying. This allows you to get comfortable with P&L. And remember, you're not seeing this stuff is not correct yet. I don't think this is, but this is right here. Okay. So this part and this part. We're getting new versions all the time. So the idea here is that the transition between Brokerage Plus and this paper trading is going to be seamless because it's the exact same interface. What you can see is open P&L, close P&L, your profit factor, how many trades you have, exposure, shares open, shares closed, what's the percentage of winners, and stuff like that. So I'm going to show you how some of this stuff works and what are you going to be able to see. So one of the things that I love about this is you can go to any channel. Let me make sure this is pinned. This doesn't go away, does it, Brad? I'll put it over here. So let's go to the surge channel. Yeah. Okay. And in the morning, you can be like, okay, look at this NTZ. Okay. You can be like, I've been noticing these things that if I buy them at a certain point in time, again, you just have some idea that I think that they go up. And NTZ actually looks kind of interesting on the daily, if anything. Look at this big volume spike, right? These are the kind of things that in general, I like to stay alerted to. So I'm going to click this. Called going. I'm going to hit save. So now I've got an alert in case this really starts to break out, because look, just recently it was as high as $6 and it's gotten killed. I don't care what it does right now. I'm just giving you guys examples. But here is where we get things interesting. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to say trade this, and I'm going to buy 500 shares. Oh, I'm already in it. Great, Dan, I forgot. I already tried this experiment. Let me switch to a different stock. Okay, here we go. HIMX, same interesting thing. Right click, trade HIMX, buy 500 in market, and here you have it. So HIMX appears. You're kind of seeing the feedback. That's what I want you to see, is that as soon as you make the trade on market, it will appear. There will be, consequences to your P&L, etc. And I'm going to show you something else that's really cool. Okay, and I'm going to move to a different channel here. Let's go to social media. So here's, okay. So I'm going to put in a limit order here. Let me bring this up. CLSD, buy 500 shares, but I'm going to buy it at 58 cents. I'm going to hit buy. Notice. So just like in Brokerage Plus, now you can visually trade. This is your paper trading limit order, and you can also move it around a little bit. So now I'm going to bring it to here. Change it to 64. Okay. So you can see this in your orders. The idea is very simple, guys. We want you to have zero. Once you learn how to do this here, you'll be able to use this interface live on Brokerage Plus, because it's the same interface. Same exact thing. Okay. So you can take a position here and you can cut it in half. Notice the shares change. Okay. Or you can flatten it. Boom. So these are the feedback mechanisms that, so I can, let's say I take the shorts and I flatten them all. I'm just showing you again what you can do that you might have never seen being able to do before. Boom. And there you go. And now they're gone. Okay. This gives you an ability to work with the software just like you were doing it on Brokerage Plus. And again, Brad, I don't know why some things would or would not go. Okay, here they are. Wait, it disappeared. Just what? Is it because the market's closed, you think?
Yeah, I think the market orders are kind of acting a little funky right now, because you shouldn't be able to send a market order after hours. So there's some simulation stuff that we're working on, but it's getting pretty close. One of the great things about that right-click menu that I was going to point out is, you can use that order entry panel down at the bottom of Brokerage Plus, but that right-click menu allows you to customize those options right there. And those options, they could be really slick. Like you could have an aggressive mode, you could have a passive mode, and that aggressive mode might buy the last price plus 2 pennies, whereas so maybe the passive mode can be below.
How would somebody customize this?
Yeah, so you would go to the Strategies tab inside of Brokerage Plus, and right here is where you can add them or modify the different order types.
So see, now I can say 110 shares and say okay. And then if I right click, I guess it would have to say.
Yeah, no. So you can go back to there and let me show you the thing that you did wrong there. Go back into the strategy that you edited. Do you remember the strategy that you edited?
This one.
Okay. Right click in it, edit it. Now at the very, very top, even though you changed your shares to 110, it's just a label up at the top. You can call it anything you want. So this is where you would call it 110 shares at market. You know, you can say anything you want there.
Okay.
And another interesting thing, go to that drop down right there on the position sizing where it says fixed shares, where you changed it to 110. We use the same options that we have inside of the AI profitability, where we allow you to kind of denote how do you want to size this based on the dollar amount, maybe $5,000 per position that you're getting in, maybe an equal number of shares, or maybe something based on your stop loss, so a risk-based type of position sizing.
And once again, the whole idea here is a simple transition that is seamless once you start using it with real live trading. So all of these interfaces, they're exactly the same. So Brad, how will this change once I hit OK?
It should.
Yes.
And then if you right click, you're going to see that reflected. You can also right click on a chart too and get those same options. Yep. But you know, another nice thing about that, Dan, that I didn't really mention is you can also include, you know, not only that sophisticated sizing and stuff, but you can also at the same time include your protective stop, maybe include a profit target, or even include a time stop, maybe get you out at the end of the day unless you manually override it. So all of that can be kind of put into that initial order macro, if you will.
And these are all the options.
Now, some of those options up at the top where it says stop filling after a certain number of entry orders, you could certainly apply it to the right-click menu, but initially this was designed, and it still works that way, for you to create a strategy using our alert window component. And once you create that, you can drop it into the strategies tab and have it automatically buy or sell your predefined instructions anytime that signal occurs. So 3 different ways to use Brokerage Plus.
And everything that we're talking about here is, of course, available via videos. There's tons of this stuff, you know, that's ready. But, you know, you can right-click, you can make a new strategy. You can just customize this with a little bit of just pre-homework, right? You can customize it to do whatever it is that you want. But the beauty here is, you know, this is the kind of stuff that I personally really love, is that you can kind of start saying, okay, these are the losers, right? Oops. Here they are. Well, I'm going to half them. And here you see it's interacting. How about this? These are the losers. I'm going to reverse them. Boom. It might start reversing again, but you can see what I'm doing, right? We're kind of playing advanced poker. Like right now, to do this kind of stuff, people really would have to know how to create. I mean, again, Brad, you and I, we both used IB. You know how complicated that thing is. And it's just not designed for this kind of stuff. Another beautiful thing. Whoops. You can highlight all.
Or you can just hit the all button.
Thank you, Brad. I mean to do it. All. Say limit out. And you can put orders, like let's say you're hunting, you know, and what I mean by hunting is you're hunting the spread. So here put for longs, limit price, bid minus 10 cents. For shorts, ask plus 10 cents. You can say, okay, how about minus 3 cents, and hit submit. So now when you're seeing all these orders, you've got all these orders that are going in where you're working this. And the whole idea is that it's seamless. Boom! Brad.
I don't know if it really works quite that efficiently, but we're working on that to make it a little bit more realistic. But
right. But you guys get the drift, right? That's the really nice thing. And then once again here, we can experiment. You can now experiment and feel the P&L in a way that I think, let's go to the stock prices, the stocks that are moving up. Okay. You can experiment with the P&L and the feedback in a way that you just haven't been able to do that before. Trade option, buy 500 to market. There you go. And that's what we want you to see. We want you to see the feedback.
The exposure, what does that share quantity relate to from a exposure perspective and a capital requirement? Position sizing is super important when you're trading. It really is.
Right. Most people, until they learn how to lose money, they never even get to experience this. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to say, hey guys, well, let's look at all the things that are really up a lot for whatever reason, and let's play around in this realm so you can kind of see what would it be like if you actually possibly did any of this kind of stuff. And that's the kind of feedback that we love to provide to our clients, because this is what teaches you how to prepare your expectations properly, And once again, you've got this now freedom to really hack at it, get into it and feel what it's like to say, okay, well, I see what this thing is doing, and maybe you want to double down. Because again, you sense that it's going in the direction that you like. So the paper trading, so let's talk about a couple of important things as it relates to paper trading, Brad. Number one, paper trading will be a free add-on with both premium and standard subscription. Divorce, Steve, I think you're going to like that. So the idea here is that this is an add-on. We are not charging anything for this. We want this to be a part of the usability component where people are interacting with this technology the way that we believe it ought to be interacted with. And very quickly, you're going to see that your Brokerage Plus will become a focal point of your trading layout, because you're going to be, making trades, whether paper or real, but doing it a lot more than ever before, because you're free. You're free from the fear. So, question about level 2. So why do we not have level 2, Brad?
Well, I think the main reason is that this is something that will come with your brokerage platform if you use it. I'm not a big fan of level 2 personally, just because of all the hidden orders that exist out there. It's not as transparent as it once was. The pegging and discretionary orders make it a little bit more difficult.
From our experience, level 2 plays a scam on two parts. It's a scam for teachers to scam you into taking a course on level 2, and I'm not mincing any words here, okay? Because, as Brad said, the intention of level 2 and what it used to do versus what it does now are not in sync at all. The other issue is timing, right? If you're working level 2, okay, you're at such a small micro time frame level that you're missing out, in our opinion, on the bigger picture stuff. Because the real play here, right, is to catch the 117 in August to 170. No amount of love. You could have closed your eyes and bought it on this day and never looked at it again. Like, there would have been, every second you would have wasted on level 2 would have been a second that was preventing you from getting into this incredible move from 120 to 170. And we've said this before. How about getting long at 64 or at 64 here as well? So people use there's a lure. People use the lure of level 2 magic to make people need to educate themselves on it, where today it doesn't really make as much sense. So that's one of the reasons. And of course, The other reason is what Brad said. There's a price component to it. Most people are already going to get the level 2 in their brokerage platform, so you can simply pull that window out next to Trade Ideas and have it. And if we were providing it for you, it would be an additional cost, and it's one of those expensive things that you don't need.
We do have, Dan, one of the things that's interesting, we do have external linking, which makes it super easy to link with these third-party brokerage applications, whether it's the program Trader Workstation, your brokerage platforms, order entry panel, level 2, time and sales, all that good stuff. So they really are meant to work hand in hand if you want to use some of the components from the other platform. It does work pretty easily.
No, and Vladimir, we totally get it. A lot of people don't necessarily swing trade, but again, this is just our point of view. The scalping game is so treacherous and so difficult for people to become good at that again, if you know how to do it, then that's fantastic, and we don't disparage it at all. It's one of those things that's, if that's your goal, it's a very difficult thing to learn to do, where your trends in today's market is just a little bit easier, especially if you're getting started.
I mean, there's some real statistics too. People coming in and actively trading, not having done it before, and it is a very difficult endeavor to be successful if you're going to make this your full-time game and you're just coming into the space. So you got to have some realistic expectations. If you do have, like Dan said, if you do have that skill set and you've honed it and developed it, fantastic. And you can use our software like a piece of clay to kind of deliver the info the way that you want it delivered.
So let's talk a little bit about another thing. So let's work together here. OpGen. So you can see on our enhanced new single stock window that it's not out yet, right, Brad? No.
Really close. I think this is our final test on it. I think that it'll be out next week.
Okay, out next week. You've got insiders, buys, and sells. Okay, so this is us working to just give you more information. Okay, and not all stocks have that information, so I don't know which ones do or don't. But here you can get like a really kind of good sort of idea of what the insiders are doing. So potentially, see here, I'm short Gen, right here, for whatever reason, and I'm going in the direction of the insiders. I'm just giving you an example, and this is another thing that you can do whenever you trade anything. So here you've got OMI, which has been, look how much it's been going up, and what have the insiders been doing, Brad? Buying. Not always, this is the case, but sometimes, certainly. And here's another example where, interestingly enough, right, and this is a 12-month yearly thing. So you've got 12 months of shares, total shares, shares bought, shares sold. So you can really see, you know, what's kind of happening, and this is over the course of the year, so you can maybe see why it's gone from 20 all the way down to where it was at 13, and you know, it's starting to pick up again. But once again, we're working hard to give you more and better information here, okay? So that as you're in these positions, you know, you have the ability to discern if there's any additional amount of information that can be used to help you make a decision. Here's an interesting one, you know, where you've got the IPPR. It's kind of on lows. Okay, I don't know why I bought it. Maybe it was on one of the other pages, but look, and again, this is just giving you some information.
Yeah, and while you're showing this, I can tell there's some bugs and problems here, but just on the summary information up at the top, but that'll all get worked out here in the next week.
Right, but the idea is that you can see what's going on. It's just another way to help confirm, and I've said this before, that even the paper trading, you know, that's not exactly everything is not perfect here in terms of the numbers, but you get to see what's going on, right? So you understand that now you will have this insider buys and sells. Brad, did we get the remember we were going to put in a line on the chart that was the average recommended price or something like that?
Yeah, no, that's for the next segment of the single stock window where we're bringing analyst ratings into it, right?
Got it. Okay, so all of that is happening. So we're bringing analyst ratings, insiders, and again, you can tell that our whole goal here is kind of simple. We're just trying to make it easier for you to figure out what is going on and why it's happening. You know, and this is just information that you have not had before, okay? And so KPTI, and I'm just giving you hypothetical. I see all of these 12 months, 2 million shares sold. Let's look at the details. Volume 1.2 million. I mean, it had, I don't know what's been going on, but because of this, I'm just giving you a high level. I'm going to say trade and short. And again, we talked about that this isn't perfect right now, but you can see where it's going. So what we've got here is failure to communicate. No, I'm trying to say that, right?
I was expecting that.
I know. Gotta throw in some movie stuff for you, big guy. Eventually, I see potentially, let me see here, having some of this insider information is possibly a filter, right?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Being able to test and create strategies from it. So as we're approaching the halfway, well, not the halfway, but you know, we've been in this Q&A webinar for 34 minutes now. At the high-level summary, what I want you guys to see is this new information. That's why you guys are here. This is the new stuff that's coming. Paper trading. So for all of our affiliates and all new traders, you can really learn how to work the system very efficiently. You know, you can surf the channels, you can and start making the moves. You know, what's Apple doing? Why is it doing it? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Intel, AMAT, all these stocks that are kind of broken up for you by their flavor. You can figure all of that out and make a quick paper trade and start getting day feels. Now also, Brad, of course, this paper trading allows you to hold things overnight. So you can not only learn how to potentially do some day trading, but also swing trading. And we will hold contests to ferret out who are the best paper traders. There'll be rules and stuff like that, but there's going to be lots of gamification of all of this once it's really, again, ferreted out and people explore this more and give us more feedback. Right now, it's still just with us, but hopefully you can see that we've been putting a lot of work behind the scenes. It's not just, hey, give us your subscription money, although we do appreciate it, but there's lots of stuff going on behind the scenes. So let me get back into the, let me ask a quick question. Are there any questions? Talk to me. Anthony, give it to us. We're here to answer your questions.
I think Anthony asked earlier if there are any plans to connect other brokers to Brokerage Plus.
So yes, there are. We don't. You know, our business guys are trying to talk to their business guys. Can I tell you, are you guys ready for a secret? Not you, Brad. You're supposed to know this.
I'm ready.
All right. This is a secret. Shh. Nobody tell nobody. Okay, here's the secret. Online brokerages don't want you to trade. All right, Darius said it. What? Who said that? Online brokerages, you guys, do not want you to trade. We found this out the hard way when we tried to sell them enterprise licenses to our technology, which makes you trade more and engage more. Now, there's interesting selfish reasons for that, but I want to be completely out there so that you know what you're dealing with. Why do online brokerages not want you to trade? Brad, can you answer this question for our audience?
Online brokers don't want you to trade for a couple reasons. One of them, they really do enjoy just making money on the assets that they're holding. Two, they don't want you to lose your money by trading. Then they won't have the assets to hold. Three, they'll have to support you if you're trading, and sometimes that's good, sometimes it's not. I think those are the three that kind of come to my mind. There may be more.
But that's the primary one they believe, is that if you actually invest, you're going to close your account. You got to love the online brokers. They want to get you into a plan that's managed by them to buy the S&P and do what the market does. Nothing. That's been their plan all along. So to answer the question, why is it a little bit trickier for us to get connected to APIs? We want to talk to E-Trade, TD Ameritrade. Like, hey guys, you want to connect to to Brokerage Plus and have you guys engage in the market? They're like, hell no. Don't say those words. I want to get them into a plan with an advisor. We wish this wasn't true. IB at least pretends to like trading. Wait, Brad, what did I just say?
I don't know, my keyboard was clicking too loud and I was on mute.
There you go. Waleed's helping you. IB at least pretends to like it.
Thank you, Waleed.
They don't like it either. Again, they don't like it because, this is the brokerage business. You guys, listen to me. Why do you think Robinhood charges nothing? Those guys that are robbing the hood, they charge nothing because they want the account balances. They want the account balances because they want the millennials who buy like 5 shares over time, don't care, don't do anything. That's not engagement. When you start to trade, that's when the brokerages, as Brad said, they get nervous. You're stupid. You're going to lose all your money. That's not going to make them happy. So it's trickier for us to get connected to broker dealers than you might think. IB let it happen because it was the path of least resistance. We used to be connected to TD Ameritrade, and we had these promotions going on for a long, long time about people being able to trade with them. But the problem is TD Ameritrade never promoted it. They've got the 5, 10 million accounts, but shh. So it never really worked, and it made no sense for us. So now we're really trying to talk to the brokers in a very individualized way. And again, the best way that you can get that to happen is if you call your broker and tell them, hey guys, can you connect to Brokerage Plus with trade ideas? I really want to trade through their system. You shouldn't, but at least then they've heard it, and when we talk to them, we can say, people are demanding this, and we're like, okay, you're right. So that's kind of the high level. But yes, TradeStation, E-Trade, TD Ameritrade, even Fidelity, all these guys, we would love to be able to give you a full suite of API connections. It's just that, again, it's not as easy as it looks, okay? As Brad said before, and again, he's done some really nice work on this presentation, the tools here are kind of like Adobe Photoshop. You can do so much more than you probably have ever imagined that you could do. You just got to dig in a little bit, and that's why there's a full suite of education that's completely rolling every week, classes from advanced, intermediate to beginner, much like a mountain, a ski slope. You can do it all, and you can really take it to another level. Our standard subscriptions are very powerful, and of course, the premium has all the back testing, the AI, and as we've said before, you can window shop at Barry's room where Barry's helping you by showing you how people interact with the software, setting your own price alerts, after market. All of these things are things that are available for everyone. So Holly,
Yeah, Dan. So Anthony's asking a question that's kind of pertinent to the price alerts. And so we've recently added price alerts to the standard subscription, but I still believe there's a gap between the number of price alerts that we offer the premium subscriber opposed to the standard. So, but you do get that now with the standard subscription. So what you don't get in the standard that you do in the premium, you don't get the odds maker, so that the ability to back test a strategy, that's in the premium. The AI signals, the ability to use any of the AI channels, that's also available in the premium. I think those are the two things. And then with the premium subscription, you do have the ability with Brokerage Plus to automate the AI signals as well.
let me talk also a little bit about what's coming down the AI pipeline. Okay, so I'm going to make a strategy. I'm going to start from scratch. I'm just giving you guys a one-on-one here. I'm going to go to our alerts. You can search them. You can scroll down. You can just do lots of different stuff. I'm going to talk about that's 75% pullback from lows. Again, I'm kind of randomly selecting stuff where the dollar move was at least 50 cents. And I'm going to say the change from the close was at least up 0.5%. Volume today was at least 300,000. Okay. And I'm going to summary, I'm going to say the turn around. Just want to show you what the odds maker does, how that works, how we create our statistical analysis. So the idea here is I right click and I say back test this strategy. I'm on the West Coast, so my open is 6:30, so I can say, okay, 6:45, I'm going to start this strategy and see if it's any good. Okay, and I'm going to trade it till 11. I'm not going to add new trades last 2 hours. And I'm going to simulate the buy. So this is called running the hypotheticals. Okay, so you can see that my guess here was no good. Okay, this happens a lot. In fact, one of the things we talk about, everything that looks good to you on a chart probably sucks. But you can go to your optimizer tools. Whoops. Hello. Your optimization tab, and you can say, well, when is a good time to trade this? Okay, and it turns out that maybe it's 7:30 to about 9. So right away you can make some inferences. Okay, I'm going to go to the alert window, right click, back to strategy, and say, what did I say here? And again, this isn't perfect. Brad, what was it? 7:30 to 9. Well, you just improved your strategy quite a bit. Like, think about like what I just did. So Anthony, I'm kind of talking about it. Look at the testing that I'm doing right here. It's impossible for us to spend all the time talking about what TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim does versus us. But what we do here is called event-based testing. So there's this event. And here are the stocks that have came across when this event took place today. So I'm testing this event to see if it's a strategy. Most every other business that lets you do strategies, they'll say, okay, RSI above 70, create a symbol universe, and you can see if that works. This is a totally different approach to it. And also, again, the way that we isolate how to improve the results. Like, when are the institutions really doing this that makes sense for you to trade it? And again, you can really start to possibly isolate that information. Like, you're basically backing into the institutional volume or what the institutional algos are doing. You're continuing to improve upon your guessing through the numbers. And all of this is on video, guys, so there's nothing that I really need to dive into here. But my point is, we have a very unique way to test the data. Here's the AI today. It didn't perform fantastic, although most of the day it spent positive, to be fair. It's just at the very end that it had some stuff, some issues. You can add your own channels. So you're like your own Netflix. You can create a channel that's very customized to you. You can share that channel with your friends. We already have channels designed to help you. And very soon, what's going to be happening is you can create a strategy and the AI will maintain it and optimize it for you. So these are the big things that are happening as we speak. And again, this is Brad taking what I've shown you, but to a finalized level where he's fully optimized the strategy, and that's what the odds maker does. I mean, Brad, you did a slide for everything. So for those of you that don't know, we're a subscription-based service, and this is how much our software costs on a daily basis. In terms of payment, the payments are either monthly or yearly, and you can just kind of see what it is that you're paying for and how much it costs. It's your Starbucks, but a little bit cheaper, okay? Barry's Trading Room is available for window shopping. Anthony, for those kinds of things, shoot a video to info@trade-ideas.com and people will help you out in the support forum. Everything is possible. So Barry's Room is there to help you see how people utilize the technology, and there's lots of different ways to do it. And Barry is an incredible moderator, and there's a meritocracy of successful traders that are working there. We have a podcast that I haven't done in a long time, but we'll start doing it soon. Myself, my good friend Jamie, giving you kind of a different feel for what we do at Trade Ideas. Tons of resources, books that are free, just information to help you through the various stages of your education process when it comes to active investing. And of course, we're very easy to get a hold of. We're active on social media, like us on Facebook, and if you need to, give us a call or shoot us an email at info@trade-ideas.com. Scott, I think we're good.
I think that about covers it. We're going to have the recording up later on tonight or tomorrow. Stay tuned for an email update from GoToWebinar tomorrow with a link. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Brad, thank you once again. And everybody, thank you for joining us. And if you have any issues, just let us know and we'll help you out.